girls, it's Colin back again for another assembly, and together with our occupation list we're going to be talking to the mayor today. Every town or district across Northern Ireland in their government, they've got the mayor. The mayor is the one who is in charge of the whole town, if you like. But we're going to learn a lot more about what it is to be an actual mayor. But before that, let's get ready to sing "If God Is For Us, Who Can Be Against Us?" Countdown. 3, 2, 1.
Looking out, it's a great big world. Where do I go? How do I fit in? Gotta keep this one thing on my mind. Maker of all the universe is on my side. And if God is for me, who can be against me? God is for me. Who can be against me? He is my strength, he is my friend forever. God is for me. Who can be against me? Never. Oh, got this broken. Looking out, it's a great big world. Where do I go? How do I fit in? Gotta keep this one thing on my mind. Maker of all the universe is on my side. And if God is for me, who can be against me? God is for me. Who can be against me? He is my strength, he is my friend forever. God is for me. Who can be against me? When I just don't understand. God is for me. When life doesn't go the way I planned. God is for me. When I just don't understand. God is for me. When life doesn't go the way I planned. God is for me. Here we go. Sing it up. If God is for me, who can be against me? God is for me. Who can be against me? He is my strength, he is my friend forever. God is for me. Who can be against me? God is for me. Who can be against me?
Okay, now we're going to go and visit Mr. Stephen Martin, the Mayor of Lisburn and Castlereagh Borough Council. Thank you for your time, Stephen, and we're going to enjoy what you have to say. Here we go. Boys and girls, we're delighted today to be in Lisburn, and we're going to be speaking to the Right Worshipful, the Mayor, Alderman Stephen Martin. Or can I call you the Mayor?
You can indeed, Colin, absolutely.
We're delighted to have you. Say hello to the boys and girls, Mr. Mayor.
Hello everyone.
Can you tell everyone what is a mayor? What is the mayor?
The mayor, most towns and cities have a mayor, and that's the person who is called the first citizen of the area. So they have the job of chairing the council, which is made up of lots of different councillors who are elected by the people, the community in which you come from, to make decisions that affect you. It's a real privilege for anyone to serve as the first citizen of their home city, and that feeling is very much with me every day.
Is that a gold chain you're wearing?
It is. It's my chain of office. So you have this. It's a great ID when you go out and about, just in case anybody that perhaps doesn't know who you are. That this signifies the office of mayor, and it carries with it a great deal of history and significance. The symbolism that comes with the office of mayor is really quite impactful for a lot of people, and it's an opportunity for us as a community to bind together. as well.
But it's not like the sheriff of a town.
No, well,
It's completely different.
I wish it was. It would be that would be quite interesting. And see if I got a horse and a badge with it. That would be great.
Are you a family man?
I am. I have 3 girls at home, Colin. Emily, who is 7, Imogen, who has just turned 6, and Hallie, who is about to turn 2.
Oh, a very young family.
Very much so.
But you, as when you were a little boy, did you want to be the mayor of a city?
I was probably, like many people, not too sure how that all worked. I did know who the mayor was. I remember as a young person from Lisburn meeting different mayors during my childhood, and that's always stayed with me. Back when I was in P6, I received a swimming award from the then Mayor Harry Lewis.
Yeah.
One of the longest serving councillor in our council, a gentleman called Alderman Dillon, was mayor about 22, 23 years ago, and I was lucky enough to, as a young person, to be in his mayor's parade. So I think as mayors, it's an opportunity for people to remember certain times as we go through.
So to be the mayor, you have to be a local councillor.
You do indeed. Yeah.
How long have you been a councillor?
I've been a councillor for 10 years now.
You must have been a young councillor.
I'm still young, I hope, Paul. But it's funny, you're only as old as you feel, isn't that what they say? I'm 37 now, but I was elected when I was 26.
But after school, do you have a trade, or do you have a job, or what are you qualified as?
The interesting thing about being a councillor is that anyone can do it if they live or work in the area which they look to represent and are over the age of 18. That doesn't mean to say that anybody who's under 18 can't get involved in their local community and have their voices heard. We're very keen to hear from our young people because they're the next generation coming through, and we want to be making sure what we do is fit for them, but you have to be 18 to stand for election to the council. So when I was 18, I went to university at Queen's University Belfast and studied law with politics. So that was probably a clue that I was always interested in the political side of things. But I graduated and became a solicitor, and then moved into the health service. So I work there, but I'm not doing what I think is probably one of the best temporary jobs I'll ever have.
So going to university, you obviously done well in high school.
Yes. Oh, well, I think in anything, if you want something and you want to achieve things, you have to work hard at them. So I would have ensured that when I came to studying, I worked hard at that. Children
watching primary school, would you encourage them to work hard at school, or just wait till they grow old before they start learning?
Definitely not. I think you work hard at anything that you're committed to. You should try your best at. We learn through everything that we do, and that requires us to understand that we won't always get things right. So it's about learning from those things and taking the lessons from them forward into your next adventure. And
there was primary school and high school and university. What was the easiest or the most difficult for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it depends on the person, really. But for me, I loved high school. I had a great school here in Lisburn, and that were very supportive to me. Going to university is different because you are very much you are in the world as it is, and you're required to do things off your own bat, as it were. There's no one standing over you to make sure that you have your coursework in on time. These things, it's up to you because you're an adult and you should know to be able to do these things. So sometimes it takes young people a little bit of time to understand that, and the guidance that is there in school is perhaps not just there in university.
Yeah, we often teach the children through song and through Bible stories the importance of praying for those in leadership, those who have responsibility. Is that important for children to pray for those in the government?
Well, I think so. I think anyone who is involved or wants to be involved in their community, when any help, any support, any guidance they can give or seek to give to us as elected representatives, as local community leaders, we will always be receptive to that.
Yeah. Did you ever have difficult days? Is every day tea and cake?
I think everyone has difficult days, don't they? And hard days, and days that perhaps they just aren't on their top form. But when you're mayor, I think it's important to remember that everywhere that I go, people will be meeting the mayor for the very first time, and it could very well be that they've lived in their local community for a long period, but they've never met someone like the mayor. So it's important that we are making sure that we're good ambassadors for the council, because at the end of the day, we're representing the community as a whole.
I love that word ambassador used, because you're an ambassador for, what city are you ambassador for? The city of?
Lisburn and Castlereagh.
Lisburn and Castlereagh. That's my hometown, and it was a town when I was growing up, and now it's a city. So through the influence of the mayor, it's obviously developing and getting bigger. But we often talk about the Bible, and in the Bible, Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, he said, I'm an ambassador for the Lord Jesus Christ, and he wanted to impact people for God everywhere he went. So there's a calling and a challenge for everyone as they go through life, through primary school, high school, university, or political life, and it's important to be a good ambassador for your country, for your city, for your town, and ultimately God, if you can be. What advice would you give to children who are thinking, I don't want to learn anymore, I've learned enough?
I think you should always want to be learn more, because at the end of the day, the world, everything that's around us, there are changes happening, people, there are new inventions taking place. Why wouldn't we want to learn more? Why wouldn't we want to ask more questions? I think that keeps things interesting. It makes us as individuals grow, and I think that's really important.
And you have an interest in people?
Very much so.
Would you say you're the mayor or a politician by conviction, or because it's a career for you?
Definitely not a career. It was something that I was always interested in, but not something that I thought I would jump in with both feet. But when at some point you become, well, why am I standing on the sidelines? Why can't I get my hands dirty and get involved in making decisions? And one of the things that I take away from this council and my time here in Lisburn and Castlereagh is that regardless of which place all my colleagues come from, they're all here to try and make a positive difference, do good in their community, and I think that has to be, I respect that, and I respect them for that.
Christ is probably the best example of someone who took an interest in people, not just multitudes of people, but individual people as he went around. Mr. Mayor, is this your bedroom? I mean, where's the bed?
Mine's a little bit smaller than this. This is our council chamber, where our councillors come together to discuss, debate, and ultimately to make decisions. And it can be a bit scary for some people coming in here for the first time, because the way that it's set out. But when they actually look around the chamber, believe it or not, it is shaped in such a way that we encourage people to debate, be respectful, and ultimately come to a decision for the people of Lisburn and Castlereagh. And I have to say, I haven't seen 10 years go by, and my year as mayor, I'm halfway through currently. And it is something that will stay with me for the rest of my life. But I hope as an opportunity to do more good in the world after.
Do you like a good debate?
I do enjoy a good debate, and the reason for that is because I take learning from that. I'm not the type of person who would stick to that position when I found out new information. I will change my mind, and I think it's important to be able to move when you've got more knowledge about things.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night talking to yourself, thinking you're still having a debate?
I usually sleep really, really well, but my wife tells me that does happen more often.
Okay, that's our time's up. Thank you so much for taking the time with us today, Mr. Mayor. We really appreciate that there. This is Mr. Mayor from Lisburn and Castlereagh. Delighted to see your gold chain and your, what's this room called again?
The council chamber.
The council chamber. Wow, super duper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, for your time. It was lovely being in the Borough Council in the Mayor's Chamber, and to see your necklace, the big chain of office, and of course where everything takes part in your meetings, etc. We're going to finish with a song called Obedience, and that's one of the reasons we go to school, to learn all the different subjects, and of course to learn to obey our teachers. Can you spell the word obedience? O-B-E-D.
Obedience is the very best way to show that you believe, doing exactly what
Verse 2.
We want to live pure, we want to live clean, we want to do our best, sweetly submitting to authority, leaving to God the rest, walking in the light, keeping our attitude right, on the narrow way, for if we believe the word we receive, we always will obey, and you spell it O-B-E-D-I-E-N-C-E. Yes, sir! Obedience is the very best way to show that you believe, to show that you believe.
Wonderful lesson today. I love that little chorus. Obedience is the very best way to show that you believe. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, again for your time. And boys and girls, one day you could be Mr. Mayor. He told you he's a lawyer by profession. And so there's always, you have a plan in your life and you just never know where it may take you. But the most important thing in your life is trust in the Lord, and He can go with you and help you and guide you and teach you to follow Him everywhere you go. Thank you. Bye.